Is morning power up call. Today is going to be a fun one. We're going to continue our discussion of probably my favorite quote of all time. This has been one that has held and revealed many lessons for myself personally. And I'm happy to share some of those lessons with you today because I believe that these insights are things that will help you propel yourself up the path towards financial freedom faster, perhaps than any other insight I can give you. And I'm not speaking hyperbole here. I'm not trying to hype things up. I genuinely believe the insights contained in this quote that we've talked about in the last call, the call before that we're going to talk about in this call, and the call that comes after tomorrow. These insights are foundational. They are things that shape your entire worldview. They shape your entire approach and posture in the world. And it will determine whether or not you will become a successful copywriter or an average copywriter. In this world, it is the successful, the exceptional copywriter who gets paid much better than the person who is content to just be average. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So the quote that we're talking about is the one from the great Emory Tate. The quote that goes, and I'm going to read it so I don't butcher it. My unmatched perspicacity coupled with my sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. Now, we've talked about perspicacity and what that means. We've talked about sheer indefatigability and how to create that in your life. Today, we're going to talk about what it means to become a feared opponent, right? A feared opponent. Now, the idea of becoming a feared opponent, it depends entirely on the belief that life is a competition, that life is war. Most people, sheep, in fact, non-predatory, non-warlike, peaceful, passive people who lay back and let the world act on them, they do not see the life as competition. They are grazers. They go out, there's just an abundance of grass. They just go and graze grass. We are cut from a different cloth, though, you and I, right? And the rest of the people on this call, the rest of the people who have heard the call, not this call, but the call to become great, to become powerful, to become financially free, to live a wonderful and amazing life. Those of us that are pursuing that path, we feel deep in our bones that life is a competition, right? It's not just a passive experience. You act on the world. There are resources you need, and to get those resources, you must put forth effort, and it is a competition. There are other people that want the same resources that you have. If you take a moment to think about this, you realize that anything valuable in life, anything that's valuable in life is a competition, right? If you want that beautiful girl, there's a bunch of other guys who do. It's a competition to get her. If you want a impressive physique, it's a competition versus the other guys who are all trying to get an impressive physique. If you want money, if you want success, if you want prestige, if you want power, if you want opportunities, if you want to travel, there are a limited number of those opportunities. There's a lot of them. It's like this weird balance between like abundance and limitation. But you have to realize to take part in that abundance, you have to compete to become worthy of that thing. The man who is most worthy, the man who has put in the effort, the man who has done the work, he receives the things that he wants. He wins the competition that the universe puts out in front of him. Everything you want in life is a competition. Pause and think for a minute. Think about the top 3 things you would, if you could wave a magic wand at your life right now, that would change, maybe the way you look, maybe the kind of relationship you have, maybe the kind of finances you have. If you could wave a magic wand, the things that you would change about your life, to get them, you must compete with other men, right? And especially at a high level. If you want to achieve any kind of success on a high level, you are competing against other men, and you need to view your daily actions as a competition between you and others if you want to succeed, because if you don't, you will most likely be out-competed by the men who do. So if we understand that the world is competition, everything's a battle. It's a battle between either yourself or other people, right? That I've talked a lot about this in the past. I like to view things as a battle. Waking up in the morning, that alarm clock, like that is a battle between myself. Like, will I let this alarm clock defeat me? Will I let the idea of waking up early when I'm a little tired defeat me? Or will I claim victory over it, right? There are men out there, few men, but there are men out there who are ultra competitive, and they are competing against you for the things that you currently want, right? If you're thinking about your copywriting clients or their customers' money, they're like all of business is a competition. It's all a competition. And whoever rises to the highest level of competitiveness, whoever is the most feared opponent in that, let's say, realm of human endeavor, they typically win. So you as an individual need to ask yourself what you want, who you're competing against, and what you need to do to defeat that competition, what you need to do to win, right? We've talked about the importance of perspicacity. We've talked about the importance of indefatigability. Those are going to be the foundational pillars upon which you build your competitiveness. However, there are a few questions I would like you to ask yourself so that you can more clearly find a path towards success in this competitive field, right? And that question is this: I want you to imagine and ask yourself, what would the scariest copywriter to compete against look like? What would his day look like? If there was somebody that was you versus him trying to get this client, what type of copywriter would scare you, like, to compete against that man, right? What would he do? How would he practice? What would his day look like? What would his prospecting look like? If you were actually had to face off against another copywriter for a client or for winning a certain number of clients, what would you be most terrified to compete against, right? Now, if you ask yourself this question, pause and think about it, and can flesh out, you can kind of create an image in your mind or a video in your mind of some version of a copywriter that would be almost impossible to beat, that you'd be terrified to ever fight against, right? As you do that, when you create that image, when you answer that question inside of your mind, that person is who you need to become. You need to now take and model that person and become that person inside of your current life. You need to make the changes you need to do. You change your habits, you need to change your skill level, you need to change the way you approach this so that you become that man. So now anytime you go up against somebody in the world, which a lot of times is indirect competition, but you are competing against other copywriters to become successful. If you become that man, then you are more likely to win in the competition, and people would be afraid to compete with you, right? You're going to be more likely to win. So ask yourself, what kind of copywriter would I be afraid to compete against? And then how do I become that man myself? If you do this, if you use this process, you'll be able to couple that perspicacity with your indefatigability to become that man and be way more successful in the realm of copywriting and you'll be able to stand out leagues and leagues ahead of other people, right? Because most people, when they first are stepping into the world of making money, when they're first stepping into the world of copywriting, they might still have a little bit of that sheep left in them. They might still have a little bit of that non-competitiveness. And so if you can step in and compete while they're not even competing, it's even easier for you to succeed. The competition is lower than you might think it is. However, the top 1%, the top 10% copywriters are the ones who make their serious money. And the funny thing is everyone has the capacity to become that person. It's just a matter of choice. It's a matter of deciding what it takes to be that person, what the price is for that success, and then paying that price. And the price is a lot less than you think it is, ultimately, right? It's not that hard to beat the competition. However, if you want to become the truly best in the world, that's where the game gets fun. That's where you start to compete. That's where the competitiveness will inspire you to become something more than you can possibly imagine. And this is why I've baked competition into this campus. That's why we have monthly competitions on the Legion level. That's why that wins channel is a competition. It's a competition amongst other men, right? You are competing against other copywriters for the fame and the glory, right? And that should, if you can tap into that competitive side of yourself, it should draw out the best in you. That's why the most successful men I know seek out competition on all forms in every level of their life, right? Now, they don't compete maliciously necessarily with the people they know, their friends, but it's a competition. And that competition is a powerful force to help you become the best you can possibly be. So as a copywriter, I want you to take some time and ask yourself how competitive you truly are. And why not? Why aren't you more competitive than you are right now? Usually, there's some level of fear. Usually, there's some level of laziness involved. You need to quash that, and you need to throw yourself a competition. You need to ask yourself, what do I need to do? What do I need to become? How do I need to live my life so I am a feared opponent in this realm of human endeavor, in this competition? When you shift your life from a passive approach to a competitive and deliberate approach, your ability to gain money, your ability to gain opportunities, your ability to gain things that are valuable shifts dramatically, right? These people over here, the people that live passively, they always complain they don't have what they want, but they don't embrace the nature. They don't embrace that side of themselves that will get them what they truly want. And that is the competitive side. That is becoming this feared opponent. That is rising to the occasion to become better, to overcome other men. We've talked about this in previous calls. So I want you guys to take some time today. Ask yourself, what would it take? What type of copywriter would I be terrified to compete against? And how can I become that man? If everybody does this and everybody competes against each other, it's a circular effect where everybody gets better, everybody improves, the best comes out of everybody. And as one person improves and gets better, forces another person to improve and get better, and then another person improves and gets better. And it all it rises and it increases everybody's capacity. It brings the best out of everybody. So embrace the competitive side. You don't have to compete maliciously. And most of the time it's a competition with yourself, but embrace that competitive side because it will help you become more successful. Become that feared opponent. If you become the man that people are afraid to compete against, you'll usually get the things that you want. So take this, apply it to wherever you are inside the program. Be competitive with the way you go through the boot camp. Be competitive with the way you work with your brothers inside the Legion. Be competitive with the other legions. Be competitive with yourself. Be competitive across any field of human endeavor, and you will see your life transform into something that A, that's more meaningful. It's more fun if you're competing. And B, you'll get more of the things that you truly want. It's been a good call. We will talk about this again tomorrow. See you guys then.